a pretty complicated life.
He did. He really did. I think God was looking after both of us in that
Mhm.
way.
Very much.
Probably. But he had a lot of personality, by the way, Tom did. Definitely had that.
Answered like 9 of these questions within that one there. I'm trying to find one you didn't answer. So, I guess at the time, the majority, this is just my assumption, I don't know, the majority choice for the situation you were in was abortion. What, or was it birth?
Oh, you mean for people that were in that situation?
Yeah.
No. I think abortion was under the table, sort of. The people that I know, all the people that I know except for one, had their child.
Because
And
during that
a lot of them
time,
got married and ended up divorced too. So
during that time, it was Roe versus Wade.
that came a little bit later, didn't
Oh,
it?
okay.
1973.
1973.
But it was, the battle was going on.
The
at
battle
that
was
time.
going on, yeah.
Could you?
And that's because that people were going into back alleys and having abortions that way. Yeah, it was not pleasant.
So, could you briefly explain your views on Roe versus Wade?
That's a complicated.
If
That is
brief
fine.
can even fly in that.
Yeah, it's very complicated because I probably was very pro-choice for a very, very long time. All through college, I know I was. Mainly because I felt like women should have a say over their own bodies, was what I thought. And then, of course, I thought of rape, incest, and, things like that. But
I've always seen with the forced rape and incest and things like that. I've always been pro-choice for that. From a human standpoint, not religious at all, I'm pro-choice. But on the religious standpoint, it's the same thing with homosexuality. Religious, pro-life, and I don't want to say anti-gay, because I know gay people, they're cool. But religiously, it's wrong. Morally.
so is gossip.
Everything.
It's in the same Bible passage, I believe, if you look it up.
Really, when I think about it, everything's wrong.
But I've evolved over time, and I think that my views are much more honest than they used to be, because I really, really believe for sure. The first stage for me was that I really believed that it was very wrong to use it as a form of birth control. That was the first place I went to. But as time has gone on, I've had to take a look at when life really begins. And I can't say I'm 100% pro-life, 100%, but I'm as close as, I'm shocked at how close I am. And one of the things that really did it for me was when Chris came home one day and he was in tears because he was working at the hospital at the time, and he came into this room and a baby fetus was laying on the table, and he said, it was only about that big, and he said, it was a baby.
I would
And,
have quit my job that day.
huh?
I would have quit.
Well, we don't know why it happened. I mean, it could have been that they lost the baby or whatever,
Not
know.
even the choice, just the sight. I would have quit.
Yeah, well,
Because my dad has thought about quitting his job so many times. He's a paramedic.
yeah, it's a tough job.
I know. I'm done with questions. It's just talky now.
Well, but for me, it's I just can't understand people ending a baby's life. And your friend Christy, is it Kristen? Christy?
Chris,
Who's the one that she was?
Pastor Mark. Christy Hall.
Who was a product of rape?
Yeah,
Yes.
that really changed my view too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I could ask somebody to go through that.
Right.
If they had been raped or whatever. But it's the first time I ever thought, that's a
person.
life.
Yeah, it's a person.
That's a person. I don't know that I could ask that person to carry that child for 9 months, but I also know that certainly that's a life. That's a life. So, And I think my pro-life, my pro-choice was mainly a popular thing, like being a, you know, like I
Well,
still.
especially in that era,
Oh yeah,
women's
yeah.
rights and.
Women's rights and yeah.
Anything else you would like to add? To anything we've covered?
That I'm very grateful to have these grandchildren in my life that I didn't know I had, and
Jeremy?
Get away, Jeremy.
I'm blessed beyond imagine. And I never would have, from the beginning of my life, ever begin to know that where it was going to go. And if I had anything to do over, I would like to have a better sense of myself from the very beginning. And I like it that people are teaching their children to have a better sense of themselves and to make the right choice
And to forgive themselves when they don't.
and to forgive themselves when they don't. Because that, I will tell you, okay, that's going to make me cry. Because that's what came out of, one of the big things that came out of it for me was that I actually got to forgive myself for the first time in 40 years.
And to know that there was nothing to forgive yourself for.
Yeah.
I mean, as painful and difficult and awful as things must have been on your end of it, you can look at it now, 45 years later, and know that the choices were the right ones.
They were the right ones.
And everything worked out at the very end of it as good as it possibly could. Maybe even better than it would have.
Oh, I definitely did. Because look at your parents got a wonderful person. And I end up with wonderful persons.
We doubled our families.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
truly.
I just would like to see more and more girls, though, know that they don't have to give themselves up.
Right.
Or
Right.
guys, for that matter. I tried to tell Jess when he was young, I said, the first time you do that, that changes everything.
Right.
You can't never do that again the first
The
time.
first time.
Yeah.
And it's sacred.
I ever tell you what Jess said when he found out about her? Did you hear about that? Well, I got that letter, and we were going somewhere, and we went to a Christmas party, and we went to that party, and I go, Jess, I said, my daughter found me. And he burst into tears. And he goes, I thought you just told me about her because you didn't want me to get some girl pregnant. He goes, I didn't realize I had a sister.
He thought I was a cautionary tale.
Yes, he thought. Oh, God.
She's the real deal.
Here's that big guy just crying away. I've got a sister. Yeah. The end. The end.
Did you ask everything you wanted to ask?
Jeremy, don't touch it. Please.
That's his class.
Yeah, this is for a grade. I'm not just recording Grandma, because that'd be weird.
Come here.
I don't know, I recorded my mom.
Come here.
Jeremy, who says I'm done? Maybe that was a...
Intermission?
Yeah.
Intermission.
What else?
Yeah. You know, we recorded. Oh, thank you. You realize you're the first person to call me grandma in the whole family.
Yeah.
I'll never forget those words either.
I called you Grandma.
Yeah, but I was the first one, so...
He was the
What
first
up?
one. He came up. He was worried about